Hello, all, and welcome to this latest episode of Chasing Green Arrows. We'll be doing a deadline stream, particularly tailored to answer your free hit questions. Or if you're on a wildcard like Gianni is, then you can send in your wildcard questions as well. Gianni will be joining us very shortly. Um, I will start by saying that my free hit team is pretty much similar to what I shared yesterday. If I can ask the producer to bring it up on screen, I will show you. This is what we showed you from my draft yesterday. So the changes that I am contemplating, apart from what you say on screen, is that I think after the Raul news, I will bring Raul in for Welbeck. I think that is something that can happen. Cunha versus Welbeck is still a dilemma that I'm considering, but I'm leaning towards selecting Cunha because I'm struggling to see a reason to doubt his minutes without any credible evidence. So I think I will probably stick with Cunha. The midfield will remain the same. I mean, Luis Diaz, Palmer, Salah, and Kluivert will start for sure. In defense, I will be starting Trippier, Livramento, and Ait Nouri. Obviously, the subs can be different, but I don't think that will be that will be consequential because we all have so much money lying around on our bench that we can effectively pick anyone. I mean, I can pick Mbomo or Semenyo, for example, in this team. I think the goalkeeper slot is the one which I will change. Sanchez is one I'm not exactly confident on. And I think there are other options that I can go for as well, such as Allison or Saw. So Chelsea's clean sheet odds have slightly dropped when you look at them from yesterday. So there's a chance that I might change Sanchez and go for probably Saw instead. Big chance, Brentford. This is the raid from Gianni's channel, I assume. Thank you, Gianni, for bringing all these lovely people in this morning. I was actually curious to see how many people sort of join us at this early hour because I sort of realized it's 8:30 in the UK and it's relatively early. There you are, Gianni. How are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see so many in the chat saying big chance Brentford with our raid comment of choice. So hello to all the big chance Brentford gang that have just been watching me on my channel. Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We got an hour of me and Big Man answering your questions and going over any sort of big deadline dilemmas. So all the big chance Brentford gang, welcome. Big Man, the reason why I said big chance Brentford was I'm obviously going double Brentford on my wild card. If you were on wildcard, would you be big chance Brentford? Would you be investing in double up, Vissa and Mbomo? And on free hit, would it be crazy to consider both of them?
I think on a wildcard, I would definitely be selecting Mbomo. He would be 100% locked in simply because of how good Brentford's fixtures are from next week onwards. He'll just save you a transfer later. And I think Wissa would be someone very close to making my draft as well. If given the choice, if I had the budget, I think I would probably pick Wissa as well, if pushed. But I think the fixture against Forest is not exactly good enough to warrant selection on the free hit personally. I think Forest are a very good defense at home, and I don't think the likes of Mbomo or Wissa are going to get the space in behind to play on the counter, which they effectively like to, because Forest will probably sit deep. That's what I expect. And the other thing is that Mbomo's ownership, especially after his recent haul, will be so high anyway that I feel as if that's a spot that's worth taking on when you're looking at differentials. So someone like a Kluivert or a Luis Diaz over Mbomo on the free hit would be my recommendation.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be really interesting, that game on Thursday night. When I look at the matchups this week, the two games hardest to predict, which many on free hit will avoid for that reason, is West Ham Brighton, impossible to call. And I think Forest Brentford is really difficult to call. Just because Forest looked like they're stuttering a little bit and Brentford was so convincing against Brighton last time out. But yeah, let us know your predictions in the chat. And good to see so many new faces. Discover with Sim says, good morning. I'm here from FPL Raptor Ross's stream as he's at a wedding. So because Raptor's not streaming this morning, he's come to check out Chasing Green Arrows for the first time. So thank you, Discover with Sim. Hopefully there's a few of you that perhaps are watching for the first time this morning. And if you are, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We don't usually do deadline streams, but we're going to start doing them for the end of the season, and we want your support. So if you want to show your support, you can like this stream. That helps the algorithm, but also check out Chasing Green Arrows if first subscribe. Like, hit the subscribe button, and we stream 3 times a week. Me, Big Man, Dean Jones, Dean's a journo, a keen FPL player, make some questionable decisions that Big Man and I always question, like a 4-3-3 on free hit that he's surely not going to do. And Big Man is former world number 4 in FPL and an elite FPL manager who is on free hit this week. We'll look at Big Man's draft in a minute. I'm on Wildcard. We'll see that draft. But we're here to answer your questions as well. So, guys, if you want to ask a question, you've got to be subscribed to put your comment in the chat. So, Big Man, let's get through some questions, shall we?
Yes, I think that's our main agenda for the day. We've done enough sort of rambling and talking about our teams over the course of the week. So let's give the audience the opportunity to ask as many questions as they can. So we'll start with KB. KB is asking, should I take a -4 for Cunha or unfortunately let Solanke play? That's a tricky question. I think I would let Solanke play, actually. The reason being that you'd effectively need any sort of attacking return from Cunha to break even, and this is assuming that you would want Solanke to blank as well. And I think I have this feeling. I was talking initially before you joined, Gianni, that I'm considering sort of swapping Sanchez out for Sa or Alisson. But at the back of my mind, I do look at that Liverpool Spurs fiction. We've sort of mentioned there will be a party atmosphere. Liverpool go 2-3-0 up. They might sort of take their foot off the pedal, let Spurs get a goal or so on the break. They might not be as defensively, let's say, sharp as they generally are. So, yeah, I mean, I think Spurs might make a goal. What do you think?
I don't think Spurs score. Liverpool have been, I think their XGC numbers have been quite healthy of recent weeks, but they have conceded a couple of times from errors. I just think Spurs seem so flat at the moment. Backing Spurs to score away from home, knowing they'll have prepared all week, probably for their Europa League game at the back of their mind. I quite like Alisson as a punt, but I still think Sanchez is probably better.
So if you were to rank the keepers, I'm being selfish here, but I'll ask my own question. If you were to rank the 3 keepers, you're on mute, Gianni. Yeah. So if you were to rank these 3 keepers, 1, 2, 3, how would you do it? Because I'm struggling to pick any.
I still think I'd go Sanchez 1. Who was the other one? Leno.
No. Sanchez, Sa, Alisson. Okay, you can put Leno as well. Leno for me is 4th. I think Southampton will score. I have a feeling Southampton will score. So I'm not personally going Leno in my team.
Mate, Sa's a really interesting one because Wolves have been so good defensively. But yeah, he's good for this week. Is he guaranteed to start, Sa? We heard he's back, but we don't. Bentley played well. End of the season vibes. Could Bentley get a couple of games? Is it an absolute shoo-in that Sa starts?
I don't think it's a breaking point because we have so much money in our drafts that we can pick a decent backup keeper anyway. So I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, true. It's not that you're going to get the cameo. It's just I'm asking because I looked at Sa for wildcard.
I would expect him to start. Yes, I would expect him to start.
Go there on
the thing
wildcard.
For me, another thing that sort of changed my perception is that, in recent weeks, we've seen that, Leicester went on this run where they didn't score for like 9-10 games. And then, Mavdidi's been their creative outlet and he's not available for the Wolves fixture. So without Mavdidi, I expect Leicester to be flat. But then again, it's Wolves, right? At the end of the day, do I really want to trust Wolves' defense? I mean, I see people saying that, doubling up on Wolves is overkill, but I'm not exactly looking at it that way because Ayat Nouri, pretty much everyone's going to own him, whether people are on wildcard, whether people are on free hit, most people will be owning him. Most of the engaged managers will be owning him. So I don't exactly look at it that way, personally.
Yeah, it's fair. I like Sa. If I was on free hit, I'd probably go Sa 1, Sanchez 2, Alisson 3.
Leno 4?
Yeah, I'm not interested in Fulham defence either. Sessegnon was in my draft purely for an attacking return. I think Southampton will score as well. Yeah, it's a tough one for you. That is. I don't rate the Everton attack either, though, and Chelsea at Stamford Bridge have been solid. So Sanchez is also good. I mean, I'm going Kepa. I also think Kepa's got a very good... I'd probably go Kepa over Leno.
Interesting. Next question is from Matthew. Morning, chaps. Can't decide on free hits. Changing every 5 minutes. I think a better sort of way of going around it is to first settle on your core and then decide which players to play around with. That would help you sort of come to a final conclusion. Triple Newcastle tag is I mean, it's brave and it's bold, I can see Newcastle winning 4-5-0. So there's a chance that it pays off, especially if Murphy, Barnes, and Isak start. It's just that I look at the Newcastle defense and I look at their defenders as a cut above the rest. So I personally doubled up on the Newcastle defense. I'm struggling to pick goalkeepers and defenders as it is, even with double Newcastle defense. So without Newcastle in the equation, I would really struggle to pick a defense.
I prefer double Newcastle attack just because if they do win that, get that 4-0 win, you want the attackers. But I hear you completely. Is Bruno a differential pick? I mean, I just don't like investing in Man United this week. I don't like it at all. I've not seen Bruno in many or any drafts, but I expect he will be in a few because Man United tax. But not for me.
I think I would expect Bournemouth to win that game, and I would expect it to be low scoring, maybe 1 or 2-0 to Bournemouth.
If we're ranking our goalkeepers, Johan, we both probably put Sarr above Kepa. I'm on Wildcard and I've gone Kepa, but that's because of the fixtures moving forward. Sarr's a good pick this week. Cucurella, how do you feel about him? I've seen him in a fair few drafts. He's obviously got a fair few attacking returns this season. He isn't. I'm pretty confident he starts, but he's not a 100% nailed player. He's a 95% nailed player.
Yeah, I mean, he should start. I think he's a great pick. I don't mind him. I mean, when I've been sort of playing around with my draft, I have had different iterations of, let's say, Pope plus Cucurella versus Sanchez plus Livramento. It's essentially the same thing. So I think I really like Cucurella as well. I don't mind him.
He does often invert guys, depending on who's at right back. If it's like someone like Chalobah at right back, Cucurella becomes a midfielder. If it's Reece James at right back, then Augusto, Cucurella could form part of a back line and not have too much opportunity in the midfield. But when we've seen in recent weeks, Cucurella playing sort of inverted left back, in open play, he's not like a defensive midfielder. He's a number 8, box to box. Like, you get some really good attacking positions from him if the game is right for him. No free hit, took a -8, said Ali. 10 players. Should I go a goalkeeper as well and take a -12? I mean, the question is if you bring in that goalkeeper, does he, 1, improve your squad moving forward, and 2, does he achieve more than 4 points? And I probably expect he does improve your team moving forward if you're going for, I don't know, someone like Kepa, who's got some good fixtures and maybe a double game week. So you could consider it, Ali. Need to know your team elsewhere. But
exactly, I think I would actually have to look at the team first, because it also depends on which other goalkeeper you have, how the defensive rotation will work, whether or not you will have a doubling keeper in 36, whether or not you'll then have a keeper in 37. So there are a lot of factors that sort of come into play. It's very difficult to sort of answer this question without having a look at the rest of the team, especially the other goalkeeper. The next question is thoughts on Sessegnon worth the punt. I can see Sessegnon hauling, and I know I will probably beat myself up to death for not picking him, because he's exactly that kind of selection you consider all week, but then because of the inherent risks that come with him, you inevitably don't end up selecting him. I think if you're looking for a high upside differential, go for Sessegnon. I think he's someone who is made for the free hit. Not a lot of people will pick him because with Wilson back, he might not play 60, he might be subbed early. So the risks are there, and I think
I'm confident he starts. But I'm also very confident he gets a substitution around the 60 mark. Is that going to be a 59 or a 61? It's probably a 65 or a 70, but there is that fear of a 59-minute sub. Right wing versus Southampton is the position to be. Southampton concede a ton of chances at left back, and Sessegnon's a goal threat. If I was on free hit, he'd be in my team, guys. In fact, when we answer these questions, we might flash up Big Man's free hit team, just so you guys have got something to look at when you tune in. So we'll put Big Man's free hit team on screen, and then perhaps we'll show mine in a minute. But good to see so many new faces around, by the way. And if you are a new face, like and please do subscribe to the channel. But also, if you're a channel member like Maliki, and I've seen Macam in the chat, when you've got questions, channel members will always be prioritized, and we want to flash up your comments as channel members as well. So Macam says Cucurella spends more time in the opposition box than his own. Love that. Is Smith Rowe starting, says Maliki. What do you reckon, Big Man, to Smith Rowe?
I'm not sure. I don't think he would personally. What do you reckon? I don't think so.
It's risky. I mean, Dean has said don't go near Smith Rowe. He's not. Like, if you're looking at Fulham, play safe with an Iwobi, or a Raul Jimenez, or pick a Sessegnon or a Robinson if you want a defender, you know?
I have zero interest in Iwobi as well. I think if you're going for the attack, it has to be Raul or no one,
Yeah,
right? I
okay.
just think in midfield or attack, they just don't have the same level of options as compared to the other players in the pack. But I mean, it's funny how sort of Smith Rowe started the season on fire. He was actually a very popular selection in a lot of our teams, and now he's sort of forgotten. We really expect him to have a big season, but that hasn't exactly transpired as we would have thought it would be.
Do you think maybe with Smith Rowe, the fact that he's never played, like in my memory at Arsenal, he's never been in the team all season. Like he's probably suffering from a bit of fatigue and fitness and maybe a niggling injury. Like this isn't a guy that's ever been a full season man, and now he's expected to be that at Fulham. He was never expected to be that at Arsenal. So maybe next season we see him being a bit stronger in that capacity, and he not only starts the season well, but he can maintain it. Because he's clearly a talented player with a goal threat. Like he's a really good FPL option, Smith Rowe, when he's on form, because he's always cheap. He's always a midfielder who gets into good goal scoring positions, and he's playing in a good team in Fulham. So I think he'll be on our radar at times next year as well. Top tip: your questions that are shorter are more likely to be asked because the long ones that are 2 lines, like a seal's, will cover big man's face. And I can tell the producer doesn't like showing those when we've got an asset on. So shorter questions that are 1 line will more likely be answered. But we'll do a seal first. What did you think of Diaz captain?
Yeah,
Big man,
think,
that's risky.
Yeah, I think it's risky, and I don't think the reason that is quoted by the listener is strong enough to go with Diaz, because if you look at selected sample sizes, then of course they can paint a different picture. But if you look at their underlying data over the last, let's say, 10 games or 6 games, or over the course of the season, especially over a large sample size, then obviously Salah is the way superior numbers. So yeah, I don't think it's a debate personally. Captains and differential captains, Sessegnon. Well, I think Salah, both of us actually reckon that Salah is the obvious captaincy shout this week. I do think that because a lot of us are on free hit, we don't necessarily need to go out of the way and gamble by picking against the obvious captain. I fancy both Liverpool and Newcastle to win big, but Salah, I just expect to be, because of his talismanic figure, because of his superior underlying data to Isak, and because of the fact that he gets the extra point for a goal, clean sheet, etc. I think I would lean towards Salah. Differential captain is an interesting one. I think by differential captain you mean captaining a player who not many people own. That is a tricky question. Which way would you lean for a differential captain, Gianni? I'm struggling to think of too many people.
We should do a poll for this. Let's pick 3 differential captains and put it to the vote. But I mean, one differential captain is Cunha. Like in terms of captaincy, Cunha differential captain's an option. I think Kluivert differential captain.
Yeah.
And should we go in Burmo for the poll?
No, I mean anyone with I don't think Palmer necessarily classifies either. Neither does Isak, because these players are highly owned, right?
Yeah.
So I think we should go for players who are not that highly owned. Someone like Isak or Raul Jimenez. Actually, I think Raul Jimenez qualifies as well.
So let's go Raul Jimenez, Cunha, and Kluivert, who are all under 20% ownership. Like they're all probably around 10 to 15. Those 3. We could go Diaz, but yeah, if we go for 4 options, we can chuck Diaz in.
Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I wondered if Murphy was a differential captaincy shout. No, let's go Murphy instead of Diaz.
Murphy is very highly owned, man. Murphy.
What is he? Is he 20% or more?
Let me check. But last I checked, he was fairly highly owned. A lot of people bought him before the double as well. So, okay, he's 18.4. But yeah, I mean, 18.4. All of these players are engaged. I assume, because
they're all latecomers.
Exactly. Not a lot of these people were part of initial dead teams. So yeah, let's do that poll and let's bring in further questions.
Big man, from the team we can see on screen, how many changes have you made to this? Is it Welbeck out, Raul Jimenez in? Is that the only change?
Yes, I mean I want to refer to the 11. So Welbeck out, Raul in. Apart from that, I'll be playing Isak, Cunha, Kluivert, Salah, Palmer, Diaz, Trippier, Livramento, Aït-Nouri. The keeper, I'm not sure about. I think Sanchez might go. I might buy Saw, maybe Allison, but I'm not feeling Allison. So maybe Sanchez or Saw. I think that would be my final sort of selection.
Yeah. The poll, guys, if you're just tuning in, Obviously, we know you're not captaining any of those 4 players. You're captaining Salah or Isak. But if you had to captain a differential, which one of the 4 names? Discover with Sim says, were most creators on free hit? I can see loads of people not on free hit screwing their transfers. That'll be interesting. Yeah, maybe. When you say most creators on free hit, I think I'm the only guy on... There's probably 2 or 3 of us on YouTube that aren't on free hit, but literally 95% of content creators are on free hit this week. So it's probably the right move. I've consciously gone differential with my chip strategy, but I think this was the optimal call to go free hit 34. Vince says -8. This is what happens if you're not on free hit. Everyone's taking huge hits. What do you reckon to this, Vince? Big man. Vince is going big on 4 transfers, 3 transfers.
It's tricky. I think it's tricky to say without having a look at the rest of the team. But I think Mbomo is nice. I don't think I'd be buying Virgil personally because Liverpool's end to the season isn't great, and even this week's fixture could be one where they concede. So yeah, I think Virgil is someone I would probably leave the hit for, and apart from that, it's sort of all right. It kind of makes sense. Maybe Raul over Cunha as well. If because you have to look at the difference in funds as well. That could allow for future moves as well later on.
Matteo, we both think it's Murphy who is more likely to start, but we both think both will start and Gordon will be sub. But if we're ranking them for minutes or starts, chances of a start, we all go Murphy number 1. Guys, before we answer questions, sorry, Big Man, just conscious that in 3 minutes' time, or even maybe in 3 seconds' time, everyone's going to be switching over to their favourite YouTubers because many of the deadline streamers start at 9 a.m. UK time. They're going to be live for 2 hours. We're going to be live for a further 30 minutes. So my question to you lot is, why don't you go and watch those YouTubers for an hour and a half once you're done with Chasing Green Arrows? We've got half an hour left. We are answering so many questions in the chat. Stay tuned and get your question answered. But also, if you are leaving, on your way out, hit the like button, but also please consider hitting that subscribe button on Chasing Green Arrows. We don't usually do deadline streams, but if we see a reaction to this and we see likes and we see subscribes, then the Chasing Green Arrows team will continue to do these early morning deadline streams before the CGA or the other YouTubers go live. So thank you to Matt and Paul and Maliki. So many of our members are in the house, but so many of you in the chat answering or asking really good questions as well. So thank you, guys. Stay with us. We're only with you for half an hour, and we will try and answer your question. We're answering so many.
Gianni, you'll make for a very good marketing manager. I'll give you that. Anyway, I was saying that while I do expect Murphy to have a higher sort of chance of starting than Barnes, I think I would go Barnes if I was picking one this week. A, because he's a bigger differential, and B, because I feel as if both start, then Murphy is the one who's more likely to get sub for Gordon. And C, because I think that Barnes is more direct and has a greater route to points. So even if you look at Newcastle's fixtures recently, since Barnes and Murphy have been playing together, in 10 of Newcastle's in the previous 10 goals Newcastle have scored, Barnes has been involved in 5 of them. So he's either assisted or scored in 5 of them. So his high goal involvement is there as well, and because he's a differential, I think he warrants greater attention. Next question is thoughts on Iwobi. I have zero interest in Iwobi, as mentioned earlier, and I assume Gianni is the same.
Yeah, I can't say he's a bad pick, but he's just not one for me. I want to get to Cunha, big man. So many have got Cunha, and he's just won the vote for best alternative captain. What do we know about Cunha in terms of last month or so? When it's been evident he's leaving Wolves, it's been pretty clear that Vitor Pereira has gone from you're our best main player, you're going to play every minute, to actually maybe we're going to experiment with life away from Cunha because we've got to prepare for next season. And 2 games ago, Cunha was benched and Bellegarde was part of that front 3 looking really good. Bellegarde was injured last week, so Cunha came back into the 11 and got FPL points, as he always does when he's in the 11. I think season long, Cunha is a really risky pick. On Wildcard, I'm not picking him because I don't trust that he's going to start the next 5 games. Do I think he starts versus Leicester? Yes, I do. Is there a doubt now Bellegarde's back fit that Cunha actually misses out?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Yeah. So I've obviously read a lot into this Bellegarde stuff, and that once Bellegarde is fit, that Cunha could drop out of the team, and now Bellegarde is available. Um, but there are two things that I'd like to mention. First is that without any credible evidence to suggest otherwise, maybe not picking Cunha against Leicester at home on a free hit, it might be counterintuitive. It might, you sort of can classify it as overthinking. I'm not sure, and I'm not exactly sure because generally I'm an X-Men's man, and when I look at someone like a Welbeck who's definitely going to start, I automatically I sort of start thinking about whether it might be worth shifting or moving Cunha on. I've actually had a look at some of the embargoed quotes. Have you read some of the embargoed quotes that have come out last night, Gianni?
No, I
In
haven't.
the
I've only
press?
seen the quotes from yesterday, which
Yeah.
on Cunha.
So
Oh no, I
yeah.
did
So
see some early morning on Twitter. Yeah, go on. I did see them, but they were behind
yeah.
a
So
paywall. But I saw the tweet.
yeah. The quotes, the exact quotes are: he's fully committed to our team. He is our player, and he is committed. That is all. He has the mentality to help the team, and I would hope so. He continues to do so till the end of the season. Now, these quotes are sort of suggesting that he will play a part in the remaining five fixtures, and I mean, unless he's bluffing, the manager is sort of indicating that Cunha will be part of the team or will be part of the 11, at least in the short term. So, with these quotes, it's really hard to overlook Cunha. Whether or not to trust him with the armband is a completely different ball game altogether. But yeah, that's why I think I'll probably pick Cunha over someone like a Welbeck.
I did see some of those quotes, and I did think, what's he meant to say? What's the Wolves manager meant to say? That if he's not part of his plans and he's actually going to use him off the bench and leave him out, he'd still give that quote, I think. So I don't know if it
No,
says much, because what do you expect the manager to say? Who, of course, wants Wolves to protect his asset, and he wants Cunha to go for the fee that's the 60 million clause. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it changes anything for me.
I would disagree here because we've seen it recently that Vitor Pereira has been very upfront and very, let's say, honest in his opinions regarding Cunha. So you must remember, like a month or so ago, there was this game against Spurs, and he came out before the game and said that Cunha will be benched. He won't start.
True.
So I mean, he could have. I mean, not necessarily, but from the evidence that we have, he has been upfront about it. So. I don't know. I don't know whether he's the sort of guy who'll play bluff.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Shashan, it says Gianni trying to put everyone off Cunha so he can captain and profit. Yeah, I wish. What it is, guys, is I don't have Cunha in my team because I'm not on free hit. And I am jealous. And I do think, going to go on record here, please don't take my reservations about Cunha out of context. I absolutely think he starts versus Leicester. I'm in a way playing devil's advocate, but in a way suggesting I don't think he starts all season for the next 5 games. Like, I think he's a minute's risk moving forward. I think right here, right now, he starts. Does he start game week 38? I'm not so sure. That's why on Wildcard, I cannot pick him. I am very jealous of everyone on free hit. And if I was on free hit, I'd absolutely be picking Cunha. What do you think of the double up of Trips and Livramento? I mean, this is you, isn't it, big man? Let's see your team. Have you got these two?
Yes, I do, and I feel very strongly about it. I feel as if it's really nice to double up on the Newcastle defense, and Livermento, I just think is kind of head and shoulders. Even Pope is, when you compare him to the defensive alternatives. So I like them. I would have ideally gone Share over Livermento, but we don't have a concrete update on Share's fitness, so there's little reason to risk him. And I think that both these fullbacks should offer uh, points potential at hopefully both ends of the field. Taylor's asking if Gordon starts, would you say he's a better pick over the other winger?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we don't know if he's going to start.
exactly. We can discuss this to death, but the thing is that we won't have a league before the deadline suggesting that he's starting. So is it worth discussing this? Next question is from DK. Does getting Pope make sense for getting to triple out defenders? Really? Yes, I mean buying Pope is equally fine. I don't mind. So I mentioned like something like Pope plus Cucurella over Sanchez plus Livramento could easily work. Is Salah a definite starter? We would expect him to start. I wouldn't say definite starter, but he should start. And because budget isn't exactly a constraint in this free hit, you can just simply buy, a decent keeper as his backup to fill in if he doesn't start.
He's put me off on wildcard though, Sarr. Like I like the idea of committing to Sarr on wildcard, but there's just that nagging doubt at the back of my mind that Bentley gets the game, and I can't risk that on wildcard because my other keeper on wildcard would be a player that doesn't have a fixture, like an Emi Martinez or whoever. So I don't think I can risk it. Yeah, I think on free hit I'd have him as my bench option. Thoughts on Semedo and Aït-Nouri double up? Look, it is worth noting, under Gary O'Neill, it was at times a back four, at times a back five. Under Pereira, it's only been a five, and these two get the minutes. It's also worth noting Semedo's the club captain, and he doesn't get the early subs that Aït-Nouri gets, and he is 0.4 cheaper. Semedo is... I wonder if Semedo's being slept on a bit, big man. I looked at his ownership yesterday. It's something like 0.7%. Like... Yeah, everyone's on Aït-Nouri. Yeah, Aït-Nouri's the guy that gets the early subs. Now, Aït-Nouri's the better goal threat, sure. But average position-wise, there's little to split them. Semedo also gets in good positions.
Semedo is someone I feel as if he's being overlooked. But then when you look at his underlying data, his numbers over the course of the previous few seasons, I see he scored like once in like 3-4 seasons. So... he's the kind of player who we're discussing because of the fixture, but he doesn't exactly have the data to back it up. He might be worth a punt if you want to double up on the defense. I don't mind the selection, but I think that we need to keep our expectations realistic. And I do feel as if we've seen more from Aït-Nouri in the previous few seasons to suggest that he's a more attacking option.
Yeah, okay. Oh, we've not spoken about Bowen much, big man. I thought Bowen would be in more free hit teams than he is. And again, for wildcard, I think Bowen's probably a better wildcard pick than free hit pick because West Ham have got some good fixtures. But even then, my big dilemma on wildcard was Strand Larsen and Bowen or Kluivert and Visser. I've gone Kluivert and Visser, but Bowen's been on my mind firmly. What's your take on Bowen?
I think Bowen is a difficult one to read because, as you mentioned earlier in our stream, that we don't exactly know how that West Ham versus Brighton game is going to pan out. It could be 0-0. It does have that end of the season feeling about it where both teams don't exactly have much to play for. And it could easily be a 2-2, 3-3 game as well. I'm expecting it to be a score draw if I was to guess. But I think there are better options than Bowen out there with higher upside. I just think this is the kind of fixture where you neither pick a West Ham attacker, neither pick a Brighton defender, because it could go either way.
Good stuff. My wildcard draft is on screen, guys. This is a wildcard team, not a free hit team, just so you know. I will also put my free hit team on screen because I think the vast majority of you are on free hit. So perhaps we'll show you my free hit team as well. Barnes or Murphy, guys. We've all said that does feel like the big decision this week because it's 50% of the questions. We've both said Murphy. Both said Murphy. Welbeck or Raul Jimenez is a proper big decision. And look, actually,
I think
Evan Nilsson as well. But I think I'd go Raul number 1 too. Evan Nilsson's not been discussed much, big man. We both just prefer Kluivert, don't we?
We prefer Kluivert because there are better options in the forward slot available. There are better alternatives available. I think the Raul versus Welbeck decision was a close one for me before the Mooney's news came out. But once Mooney's was ruled out, then when I know that Raul's going to get close to 80-85 minutes, which is similar to what I'd expect Welbeck to get, I just think Raul's fixture is better.
This is my free hit team on screen. I've gone for neither. I've gone for 5-man midfield, which we've not seen much of. It's mostly 4-man midfield and 3-man front lines, but I've gone in Burmo where most would gone an extra striker, I guess. But very little in it. Good question, guys. Good question. Is Matoma worth a punt? I looked at him on wildcard, not going to lie, but for free hit, not so sure. He'll start though because João Pedro's out for 3 games. Nanu asked about Gordon. We just don't want. It's just too risky. Too risky. If we got a leak, Gordon was starting, which we're not going to get. We'd all put him in our free hit teams. I'm sure of it, but we don't know that. Big man, are we expecting any leaks today? Because it's Chelsea the early kickoff, and then there's from the 3 o'clock. Are we expecting much?
I don't think so. I mean, I would be surprised if we got any credible leaks before the deadline. No one really cares about Everton. For Chelsea, I think the lineup is pretty much expected. I think it should be along expected lines.
Neville asked about the formation on free hit. Yeah, everyone is going 3-4-3. I've gone 3-5-2 with mine. This is where I'd be at with my team. We'll show Big Man's team again. But yeah, I like the 3-5-2. Sean asked about triple captain. When would you play it? I would go wait to those doubles in 36. You'll probably get Aston Villa and Man City doubling. And if you do, then players like Rashford could be worth a punt, but a lot will look at Amar Musha and De Bruyne. Big Man, thoughts on triple captaincy?
I agree. I would save it for the double as well. We will probably get some sort of reliable option to fall back on. I mean, it's not as if the ones in 32 or 33 have done incredibly well, so I would expect someone in 36 to come close to that as well. KB is asking, is Iwobi a good differential? We don't have any interest in Iwobi. We've already answered this. Next question is from Taylor. Agbadu over Semedo, Big Man. I think if you can afford Semedo, which I assume you can because budget isn't a constraint, then Semedo makes sense because he's on the face of it, he's more attacking than Agbadu. Agbadu is, his main appeal lies in the fact that he's 4 million, but if funds aren't an issue, then you just go Semedo, I think.
I should know, if Big Man needed a second Wolves defender in his 11, he'd probably find the money for Semedo by downgrading a goalkeeper or whatever, but Agbadu is only on his bench and he knows he's not going to play. So, yeah. Don't go Jota ahead of DK. Well, you could DK. I'm 50-50 on whether it's Gakpo or Jota who starts, though. That's such a fine call. Fine margin, that call. Salah triple captain, a differential. Wow, Mackham. If you've still got triple captain, I could see why it'd be a tempter. I don't think anyone's going to want to go Salah now after today. What do you reckon, Big Man?
Yeah, firstly, not a lot of people have the triple captaincy chip left, and secondly, because so many people are on the free hit, no one will be willing to play that chip this week anyway, or will be in a position to play it. So I think it's a huge differential. If you can go for it, then might as well.
Good questions, guys. Evanilson, Cap versus United defender. I think owning players like Evanilson, differential enough. You don't need to go there with captaincy. But keep your questions coming, guys. We are answering them quick fire. You perhaps won't always get this on streams, on FPL streams, but we really want to make this show about you guys. So get your question in. To show your support for that question, we ask you to subscribe. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll get through as many as we can. When is playing free hit the best option?
Give me 36.
36, or if you've got doublers in 36 already, you might need it at 37.
Yeah, 36 for me, because I assume if you're not playing it this week, then you can load up on the doublers in 36 while ensuring that you have enough to field in 37, because that sort of window from 36 to 37 could be a potentially tough one to navigate depending on how the doubles and blanks fall.
The best back four. Oh, if you're going for a back four, who would you go for, Big Man? If you've got Trippier, Livramento, and 8 Nori, would you chuck in Trent, Sessegnon, or a second Wolves defender?
It's a tricky one. I would probably go with either Cucurella or Semedo, I think.
Trent's not in your 11, right?
No, Trent, he probably won't be even in my 15.
And you're set on that, going without Trent?
Yes, I don't. I think there's a risk of him getting subbed earlier than usual, and the fixture isn't that amazing anyway. So, I'll probably go Alisson if I'm picking anyone from Liverpool. Who is Big Man benching? I am... okay, let me put it this way. I am starting, it will be probably Sanchez or Sa. My 11 will be Trippier, Livramento, Aitnouri, Luis Diaz, Palmer, Salah, Kluivert, Raul, Cunha.
There's no doubt that you're definitely not playing Sessegnon, are you? Kluivert, Sessegnon.
No. I don't even think I'll have Sessegnon or Trent on my bench. I'll probably have Mbomo or someone like Van Dijk at the end, depending on the budget available, etc. Triple Newcastle attack. As we've already addressed this question, Mohammed, we've mentioned that we both of us do think that Newcastle will win big, but the defensive alternatives to the Newcastle defense aren't exactly great. So picking at least one Newcastle defender makes a lot of sense. Play Palmer or Clivert. I think Palmer has to play if you're selecting him. Otherwise, there's no point.
Oh, Boona's in the house. Come on. Good to see Boona back in the mixer. And of course, Boona's on a differential chip strategy. Lot of respect for that, as am I on Wildcard. Well, Boona's on assistant manager. And there is one manager for me this week that gives you the bonus. And this chip is all about the bonus. I'll be going Brentford. Big chance Brentford to cause an upset versus Forest. Go Thomas Frank for the big ones. If you want to go for the safe points, I mean, you can't go Slot, and he is safe. You can't go Howe, he is safe. Then probably Pereira. They're the three safe fixtures. Where are you at, big man, with this chip? Where would you go?
I think I would go with Brentford as well, just for the upside. I would go with the Brentford manager. If not, I think maybe one of the maybe Chelsea or Wolves. I think that's a safe bet, but I think I would probably just target the upside and go with Brentford. Assuming they
there's another upside. I don't think there's another upside fixture. There's another bonus fixture that I like at all this week. The only upset I can see is Brentford. Like, the other games are really tough to see an upset. Could Man United beat Bournemouth? Does that even come with bonus? I think it probably does, but maybe not. So no, I'd be Play Palmer or Clivert. I have Clivert in my free hit team. I don't have Palmer. Big man, you've got both. If you could only have one, who are you picking?
Palmer for sure.
Mate, Palmer is in every content creator's free hit team, by the way. I've looked at him last night. I was like, when you said he's going to be a bit differential in free hit, I hoped that was going to be the case. Every content creator is Palmer. He's a lock in every team.
Chip Douglas is asking us, what do you think likely of Sessegnon scoring versus Man United is? I think it's. I think this will be a low-scoring fixture. It's probably a 1 or 2-0 Bournemouth win. Sessegnon is a fine pick. I won't put you off selecting him, but I think I would prefer Clivert for penalties. Evan Nilsson over Raul. I think Raul as the penalty taker with the better fixture. And I would think the minutes would be slightly better as well. So I would prefer Raul. Thoughts on the most popular goalkeeper being arguably Pope? Agree for non-free hitters? Yes, I think Pope will be the one with the highest effective ownership this week. What do you reckon, Gianni?
Yeah, he will be, and it is a great fixture. Although for non-free hitters like myself, I've still not gone Pope. I've gone Kepa and Sells, who rotate well and guarantees a double. Pope, for non-free hitters, has some tricky fixtures. Like, you look at Pope in 36 and 37, I think it's Chelsea and Arsenal. It's not going to be easy, but they're a good defence, and Pope does get save points. I still prefer Livramento or a Trippier over Pope if you can only have one of those defensive players from Newcastle. Oh, Castagna won't start. Tete's back. Do I take him out for a -4? And you've just subscribed. Thank you, Wayne. I think I'd be tempted to sell Castagna. You might get minutes off the bench, but for a -4, I'd be tempted because he helps you moving forward. He's now a dead spot in your teams. That -4 could pay off this week, but moving forward, it probably will pay off. By the way, guys, we have just reached 9,900 subscribers. Big man, tell these good people why they should subscribe and how they can hopefully get to 10K not before long.
Yes, I mean, we've been putting out content 3 streams a week over the course of the season. We've done plenty more in preseason as well, and we will continue to do so this preseason. So if you want to reward us for our efforts, it won't take more than a second of your time. Just please click on the subscribe button and keep helping us grow over the course of the season. It's been a pleasure to have you on board so far, but any sort of extra support, additional support would be appreciated.
Big man, let me know if it's too loud. I've got a lawnmower very close to me, a guy mowing the lawn within, inches of me. Big man, best Liverpool attacker, excluding Salah and Diaz. Is it Szoboszlai for guaranteed minutes, or is it a punt on a Jota or a Gakpo? But that is such a punt.
It's a tricky one. I think I would I would just punt on Jota. To be very honest, I won't go anywhere near a third Liverpool attacker. But if you want one, I would probably just go with Jota because he's the one who has the ceiling. Bench one, Palmer, Clivert, or Barnes. Uh, I mean, if you're picking Barnes in your team, then it makes no sense to bench him. I think you have to play triple Newcastle this week, so Barnes would definitely play. I think Palmer would play over Clivert as well.
The one thing I'd say about Jota, by the way, even if he's benched, you get 30 minutes of Jota off the bench against Spurs late on, you could get points. So Jota for goal threat, I'd go with even if he doesn't start. Maliki says Darwin Núñez. don't even. Gardner's in the house. He's captained Isak, I reckon, says Mackham. I'll show you the Gardner in a minute, guys. We'll take Big Man's team off in a second. I'll show you. Maybe I'll go over to him and ask him who he's captained. Double up on Chelsea defence or Wolves. Given the choice, I'd still go Wolves because they're Semedo and Aït-Nouri could both give you upside. Clivert or Mbeumo?
Yeah. I think Clivert is the better. I think Clivert is the better player.
For his ownership, don't you?
Mbeumo will have the higher ownership, but Clivert, I feel fairly strongly about it. I feel that Clivert is the better pick, probably.
And guys, don't worry about protecting rank too much with 5 game weeks to go. Like, just pick the guy you think was going to earn FPL points this week. And if you think that's Clivert, don't worry about Mbeumo's rank. A lot of free hit teams aren't on Mbeumo. So whilst you'll see his ownership really high, a lot of those will be non-engaged managers. I do think Mbeumo is a great pick this week. Thoughts on Elanga for a free hit? No one's really gone Elanga, have they, Big Man? They're looking. A few have gone Wood. And what's your thoughts on Wood as well? Those two Forest attackers.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have no interest in Elanga. I think this is a fixture which is A, difficult to predict, and B, it will have highly owned players like Mbeumo and Wood. While you look at the likes of Welbeck, Raul, I think they're better players to pick than Wood. And then you consider players like Luis Diaz, Clivert, I think they're better alternatives to Mbeumo and Elanga. So yeah, I'm not exactly too keen on picking anyone from this fixture, whether it be an attacker or a defender. Elanga or Gibbs White, G, you can take this.
I would go Gibbs White just. I would go Gibbs White over Elanga just. And guys, your questions are coming in thick and fast. Trent or Bradley to start? I think it'll be Trent, but I think he'll be subbed off. How do you bench Trent this week? I mean, Drew, you either just pick him on free hit or not. Personally, I'd be picking him, but there's a very good chance he gets an early sub if he does start. And that early sub could be 59 minutes, which would be a heartbreaker. So I understand why not everyone is going there. Cunha or Larson? No one's talking about Strand Larson. I like him as an option. For Wildcard, I was on Strand Larson over Cunha because for reasons we've discussed. I prefer Cunha this week though, but Strand Larson's not a bad pick, is he, Big Man?
He's not a bad pick. I think I would go with Cunha though. That bonus accumulation of his is just insane. Anytime he gets any sort of return, he's gonna get 7-8 points. He always gets a share of the bonus. So yeah, it has to be Cunha for me.
Bruno on free hit is bold, dude. I don't like it. I don't like Man United. I don't like Man United's FPL option either.
I don't have any interest in Bruno on the free hit.
Thoughts on Chelsea? Not bad.
I think it's bold for sure, but it could pay off. I mean, there is a chance that they can keep a clean sheet, so it's not something I would be totally averse to.
The gardener must be loud. The gardener must. He's getting closer. Look, you see behind that lemon tree. There he is. It's a bloody petrol lawnmower as well. If it's too loud, let me know, guys, and I'll move. Is Luis Diaz a good captaincy punt? No, don't do it. Owning him's enough.
Szoboszlai or McAllister aren't bad for desperate differentials. I mean, they're all right, but then again, they don't exactly have the same ceiling somewhere like as compared to Diaz or Jota, right? Welbeck or Mbeumo? I think.
Good question.
I think I would prefer Welbeck. Trent or Sessegnon? I think both of them come with a certain degree of risk attached to them. I think Sessegnon has the higher upside though. So if you're willing to take a gamble, and I sort of realized that Sessegnon is like a notch higher in terms of risk as compared to Trent. I think I might go with Sessegnon with keeping that in mind. Trent or Semedo in addition to Aït-Nouri and Livramento. I think I would probably save Semedo for the minutes. G is lagging a tad, so while he sorts his internet out, I'll be taking your questions. Next question is from. Have the next question, please. Andy is asking Diaz, is third attacking pick this week? He's getting good minutes. Yes, he's in my team, and both of us think that because Liverpool are expected and projected to score the highest number of goals this week, you want a greater piece of the Liverpool pie, and Diaz sort of allows you to have that with Salah, because probably pretty much everyone's going to have Salah as the captain. If you're on a free hit, if you can only get to one player, would you get Palmer and Mbeumo? I don't know. I would 100% pick Palmer over Mbeumo this week, personally, on a free hit. Next question is from Michael. How locked is Cunha? Was there any mention of him in the embargoed quotes? Yes, there was. We sort of, I read out the embargoed quotes like 10-15 minutes ago. The manager did specifically say that Cunha is fully committed. He will be a big part of our plans till the end of the season. So, I mean, going along those lines, I would expect him to start. Matthew is asking how many minutes do you think Isak will get? I think close to 80-85 would be my guess. I think that game will be wrapped up early, so maybe 75-80.
Big man, did you see that thing kicking out on YouTube earlier this week? It was on the overlap, and it was Jamie Carragher. They were doing their predictions, and Jamie Carragher was sat there with Roy Keane and Gary Neville. Did a prediction. They went 4-0, Newcastle win, but it'll be a Wilson. Carragher went, it'll be a Wilson brace because Isak's injured, and it just they're not talking about FPL, so they just it just blew over. I got sent the link on my WhatsApp group, and I was like, where's Carragher got this from? That there's been nothing mentioned about Isak being injured or anything, but other than Carragher, he was probably just mucking around. But I was a bit like, oh, that's random.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea about it. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment. But it's bizarre that if this has happened.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I'm like, should I look into that further and look for training pics, or was Carragher just mucking around? I don't know where he's got that from, but yeah. Do you live in Italy or Spain? I'm in Italy for 3 months, but I live in England. But for 3 months, I'm in Tuscany. Yeah, it was quite clearly the Mediterranean, I guess, from my backdrops, which we'll see a bit of if you watch me on YouTube for the next few months. Mbeumo or Palmer from Spaghetti? Spaghetti, love that. Mbeumo for me, Palmer for Big Man. Big man, I feel like I need to follow up with that Isak. I forgot I'd been sent that on Monday about Isak. Has there been any training ground pictures of Isak?
I haven't seen them, but I assume it would have blown up had he not been in the pictures. So, yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm going to go for him now, but if I can find them. They often put stuff out on Twitter and stuff, but actually, no. Yeah, it would have been mentioned. There's no way a player like Isak could be injured, and it wouldn't have been mentioned in press conference if it was on the Monday or Tuesday. Callum Wilson is wearing the same bib Jacob Murphy's wearing in the pictures. I'm
bib theory? Bib theory in 2025?
Say again?
Bib theory in 2025?
Yeah, I know. The bib theory still going strong. For a second Liverpool attack, I'd be tempted on Szoboszlai more. Yeah, because you get the minutes at least. I still think Diaz is a good punt. Diaz got 90 last week, by the way. Fair point, though, Summer. Guys, by the way, we've been asked to do Sessegnon, Bowen, Bruno, Barnes, Murphy, Trent, and Cunha, because we're getting a lot of questions on these. So, Sessegnon, I think, is worth the punt, but he's high risk. He's not in Big Man's draft. He is in mine. Bowen, he's barely in any drafts. He's a good pick because he's Jarrod Bowen and West Ham score. He's involved. The question there is how many goals do West Ham score? And Bowen's not cheap. Bruno, we don't like. We don't trust Man United, and we like Bournemouth for that fixture. Barnes and Murphy, we rank Barnes behind Murphy just. And then Cunha, we would both start on free hit. And Trent, again, we're split. A bit like Sessegnon, I'd probably go there. Big man wouldn't. But it's easy for me to say I'd go there on Trent and Sessegnon. I've put together a free hit draft, which we'll show. But this free hit draft is like, yeah, I'm 99% sure this is what I'd go with. But until you're actually on free hit, it's very easy to say you'd take those risks. And actually, I didn't have Trent in my first draft. So, yeah, we're a little bit split on some of those riskier picks. But to summarise and to conclude, we'll just show Big Man's free hit because he is on it. And the team you see on screen is pretty much the team Big Man's going with, other than Raul Jimenez is in for Welbeck. So, guys, I think that's it. That's us for the hour. Big Man, any final thoughts from you?
No, I think you should stick to your guns. If you've thought about the free hit all week, I don't see a lot of... I don't see a lot of reason to change that. I also think that a lot of people are underestimating the value of the chip, because while you might see a lot of people around you or in, let's say, on YouTube or on Twitter play the chip and all the teams look similar, the fact of the matter is that there are still points to be gained over the rest of the field. There will be picks which will gain you differential points. So, yeah, as long as there's strong reasoning and logic behind all of your selections, you'll be fine.
Yeah, very good summary there, mate. Guys, we want to ask one favour before we go. We want to continue doing these early morning deadline streams, and we would love your support on those streams. So sorry to be a bit of a broken record today, but we've been asked to promote it, and I want to. We love Chasing Green Arrows. It's not our channel, but we feel very closely affiliated with it. And we've been bringing you 3 streams a week now for a few years. We increased from 1 to 2 to 3. If you want to show your support for Chasing Green Arrows because you've never watched us before, or you've never actually hit the subscribe button, if you're a lurker out there, do come and hit that subscribe button this morning. We want to get to 10K very soon. We've just hit 9.9 this morning, which is awesome. But if you have do one thing this morning, hit the like, hit the subscribe on your way out, and we will see you on Monday for another stream. Have a good game week. Bye-bye.